brand new Fontaine Battle Pass weapons have just been revealed, and some of them are absolutely insane. It came at the perfect time because the old ones are getting pretty dated, but some of them are still worth picking. And we're going to go through every single character and talk about whether they work best with the new Battle Pass or the old one, or if you should get neither and stick to the free-to-play options. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. Before we get into the rankings, let's go through each one briefly. Talking Stick has a crit rate of 18.4%. It's on the low side and a really high base attack. The passive is the Silver Tongue. Attack will be increased by 16% for 15 seconds after being affected by Pyro. This is most likely to happen when you're standing in Bennett's circle, as he applies Pyro to your character. This effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. All elemental damage bonus will be increased by 12% for 15 seconds after being affected by Hydro, Cryo, Electro, or Dendro. This effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. This feels very targeted. They say every element gives you a damage bonus, which is the better bonus, except for attack. This is very targeted at Bennett. It's like, we don't want you to use this Claymore with a Bennett character. Like, you get some attack, but Bennett gives you so much attack already that a 12% elemental damage bonus is leagues above a 16% attack bonus. And plus, affecting yourself with Hydro, Cryo, Electro, or Dendro is not really that easy. I think the only character that affects himself is Razor, but he doesn't really want electro damage bonus anyways, and overall the stats are not that good. You'd rather have a lower base attack in general and a higher substat of crit rate. So overall, the Serpent Spine is going to be better on pretty much every character. The Catalyst, it has a lower base attack and a higher crit rate substat, which is good. Jade Circulation, when not on field for more than 5 seconds, max HP will be increased by 32% and Elemental Mastery will be increased by 40. These effects will be cancelled after the wielder has been on the field for 10 seconds. So what you really want this on is on an HP scaling off-field DPS, and we do not have an HP scaling off-field DPS Catalyst user. This looks like it could be okay on Yaimiko, but if we look at the passive, so yes, the crit rate stat is quite a bit. Like, if you look at the Widsith, it has a lower crit damage stat relative. This gives you 72% crit value and then 40 elemental mastery, versus the Widsith gives you 55 crit damage, so about 20 less crit value, but in exchange you either get 120% attack, 96% elemental damage bonus, or 480 elemental mastery. The Widsith is stupid. So overall, I don't really know if it's worth buying a battle pass weapon that costs you money and that you actually can't utilize the majority of the passive, but we'll have to see as we go through the list. The bow, the Way of Sunfire. After a charge attack hits an opponent, a Sunfire arrow will descend upon the opponent hit, dealing 60% attack as damage and applying the Heart Searer effect to the opponent's damage by said arrow for 10 seconds. Opponents affected by Heartseer take 28% more charge attack damage from the wielder. A Sunfire arrow can be triggered once every 10 seconds. Okay, so this gives them 60% attack as damage, which is alright, and then the opponents take 28% more charge attack damage from the wielder, which is pretty good. This has a really high base attack and a really low crit rate substat. The only 2 charge attack, well, we have 3. We have Tainari, Ganyu, and Lenny. I don't think this will be all that good for Tainari because he does use his burst a fair bit, so just having the charge attack damage, probably not that insane. It's probably best on Ganyu. This also depends on if this can hit an AoE. I think it's just a single target ability. Now we're getting to the juicy ones. Pretty decent crit rate, pretty good base attack, damage dealt by elemental skill, and elemental burst damage increased by 16%. Already pretty good. When an elemental skill hits an opponent, its crit rate will be increased by 2%. When an elemental burst hits an opponent, its crit rate will increase by 2%. So you get 2% increase when burst hits and when skill hits. Both of these effects last 10 seconds, separately have max 4 stacks, and can be triggered once every 0.1 seconds. So if your burst or skill can hit multiple times, you can get up to an 8% on either side, so a 16% crit rate for a total of a 43.6% crit rate buff, along with a 16% elemental damage buff. And the way that you know this is going to be really good is because all the stats are being used. When we look at some of these others, a lot of the stats are being wasted. The HP is being wasted. And the polearm, much simpler. When there are at least 3 different elemental types in your party, elemental mastery will be increased by 120. This is a great effect. This is a great polearm. So let's get into what you came here for, ranking each and every character. Starting with Albedo, I'm gonna go with neither. The sword is good for him for sure, but the Harbinger of Dawn just gives so much crit value and even more than this at R1. I imagine when you get to R3, R4, or maybe R5, then it's going to surpass the Harbinger of Dawn for Albedo, but I don't know how many people are really going to be getting multiple refinements on the battle pass. It definitely could be worth doing. It's a lot more worth it than the black sword was to get refinements on this weapon than before, but it's still looking pretty expensive, and maybe you're considering 5-star options at that point. For Albedo, if you're really an Albedo main, I would actually say that you could go for it, because there's no 5-star option. If you're an Albedo main, you want him to be maxed out, and you don't have the Cinnabar Spindle, then probably the Wolfang is actually a good pull for you. But I'm going to go with neither, because I think most people are just looking at R1, and in that case, you're worth just doing Harbinger of Dawn. For Ayaka, the Wolfang sword is actually really good, assuming you can get enough crit damage stats to not overcap on crit. It's going to be really hard to not overcap on crit. You're pretty much overcapping on crit right from the hop. Not quite. You can afford like 10 or 20 crit, or 10 or 15 crit rate subs. I personally am okay having a bit more crit rate. I like at least 45 on Ayaka personally. I would never go below that for me. And I actually use the Haran with her, and I've used the Jade Cutter with her, and I actually really like it. So I think that a weapon like this, it's going to be a really big upgrade over the Aminoma if you can get the stats for it, because it actually gives her stats that she can fully use. This sword is really good for her as long as you can. And sorry, it's going to be the new battle pass, not the original. For Aloy, she's not a charge attack character, so it's not good for her. Amber, if you are using a charge attack playstyle for her, then sure, you could actually consider this weapon. But I feel like if you really want to max out Amber and you're that dedicated, you're going to go for a 5-star weapon, because you need to do everything you can. And if you're using her as sort of more of a support, then Elegy is going to be much better. So I'm going to go with neither. Unfortunately, you might hope that Barbara would use the new set, because she would hopefully scale off of HP, because she is a Hydro character, but unfortunately she scales off attack. So if you're running her even as a DPS build, still attack is the way to go. So the Sacrificial Jade is no good for her. For Verbato, the original battle pass is way better. The Serpent Spine gives a massive elemental damage bonus buff, and this new one is really quite bad in comparison. For Bennett, there's really no need to go for any sword like this. He's much better getting just an base attack sword. Yeah, no reason to go here. Kaya, this again, similar to Ayaka, this will be his best DPS 4-star sword. So if you're not going for a 5-star, as long as you cannot overcap on crit rate, or even for reverse melt, this is going to be really good. Kazuo is going for neither, because he obviously wants ER and EM. Jean, if you are going for a DPS Jean build, you can go for this new battle pass. I'm just going to put a little it depends over here. You kind of can go for, I'm going to put Albedo and Jean in there. It's not in between the original and the new. It's either the new or nothing at all. For Chichi, it's going to be neither. For Keqing, the new battle pass sword is really good for Keqing. It is by far going to be her best 4-star. It might be, the Lion's Roar might actually be competitive at R5. So if you do happen to have a Lion's Roar around, I'm not sure that at R1 this is going to be outclassing Lion's Roar. I think it will, but it's going to be close. But it is a really good sword for her, and especially for building crit, it's very useful, especially if you don't have a weapon already. Strongly consider going this. Just wait a little bit longer for official calcs to see if the R5 Lion's Roar or this comes out on top. But it's going to be really close. All these stats are extremely useful for her. For Xingqiu, if you don't need the ER, like you're using him in double Hydro, then this is going to be really good. His elemental skill hits multiple times, so although you might not be able to get all 4 stacks, you are going to get some stacks, and the elemental damage bonus, the crit rate, and his burst hitting, especially if this procs off field. But even just procking on field, it's going to be really good for him. Chongyun, the original, it's just so good. Diluc, the original, you're not doing charge attack. You're not doing charge attack Diona. Eula, the original, the Serpent Spine is just too good. Razor, I'm going to say neither, just because I think the best way to play Razor is in a Virgin team. So I would use Favonius or an EM weapon for Razor. Noelle, the original, is way better. Ito, the original, is way better. Ningguang is actually one of the characters that can use the old battle pass weapon pretty well, and the new one she doesn't work well at all with. Yanfei really doesn't have that good of synergy with either. Official definitely doesn't want to be charge attacking. Again, Ganyu, you can probably go for the new battle pass. I'm a little bit on the fence. I would just wait and see the mechanics on it to see if it can hit an AoE, and just wait for further calculations, but I think it will be pretty good on her. The Prototype Crescent is so good though, so if you like the Prototype Crescent, if you don't mind that, I would prefer a weapon like this just because it's more unconditional than having to hit a headshot. So I think it's going to be pretty good. Goro, you definitely don't want either. Hu Tao is one that strongly prefers the new battle pass. This is a really excellent effect for her. This is going to be such a huge upgrade over the regular battle pass. I'm really excited to use it on my Hu Tao. Berkeley, you're not going to want either. Kokomi, neither. Lisa, neither. All of these characters do things with more of their kits than just the normal attacks that the original battle pass provides. Same with Mona. If you're using reverse melt Rosaria, it's going to be a really good. Really good for reverse melt Rosaria. Fujosara does not use charge shots. Sayu doesn't want these kind of stats. Shenhe does not want either of these weapons. She just wants base attack, maybe some ER. Raiden, I mean, technically, if you have R5, you could technically, this is technically an upgrade over Dragon's Bane for EM Raiden, but that is so ridiculous, and I'm not even gonna consider that. Big no for Sucro. Child definitely doesn't use charge attacks. Toma, same thing as Raiden. It seems really weird to play that and get R5 just for that tiny upgrade. It's not worth it. Just get some artifact substats. For Venti, no way. For Zhangling, I mean, this is good, but the catch is just so good. So I'm gonna say it depends, because it really depends on the state of pole arms on your account. If you just really hate fishing for the catch, or Raiden is using the catch, then you can consider something like this. But she also does have so many other good pole arms that I don't know if I'd wish for this just for Zhangling, but it is really good on her. So if you just need more pole arms and you want to get a battle pass one, then it's a great choice. For Zhao, I feel like the original is actually still going to be better, because he doesn't use elemental mastery at all, and the new one, although it doesn't give the greatest passive, it's still something that you're going to get stacks of regardless, and so at least it's giving you stats, whereas this, just the elemental mastery is useless for him. Jinyan, definitely the serpent spine, the original. Yaimiko doesn't really want either. Yuemiya definitely doesn't want anything to do with charge attack. Yunjin wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot polearm. Zhongli also doesn't want to get his pillar anywhere near that thing. I don't think this is a super good thing for Candace. I mean, again, same thing. You could run it in a Nilu Bloom team if you have R5, but it's just so ridiculous that I'm not even going to consider it. It is amazing for Sino. This polearm is so good for Sino. His kit scales off EM. It's going to help him do more hyper blooms. This is like a budget version of his signature weapon. It is super good. Ayato, I'm really not sure. He's a character that actually uses the original passive quite well. Let's take a quick look and compare. Increases damage dealt by normal and charge attack by 20%, 40 at R5, and regenerates HP whenever you score a critical hit, and they give the same crit rate substat. So 20% normal and charge attack bonus, and restores some HP, versus a 16% elemental skill and burst damage plus extra crit rate when his skill and burst hurts. That's an upgrade. No doubt about it, the new battle pass is the way to go, and the original sword was really good on him, so the fact that this is an upgrade really should tell you something. It's really an impressive sword. Kuki definitely wants neither. Yelan also wants neither, unless you're going for a total meme build, but no way no how. Heizo, really not good for her. Kale, for Heizo, no way for Kale. Dori doesn't want either. I mean, I guess if you're going for DPS Traveler, you can get the new battle pass. Sure, we can go with that. Yeah, DPS Traveler, go for it. Tainari, it's like, I guess. I don't think so, though. I would like to see this crit rate being a lot higher. I don't think so. I'm going to put it over here. If I'm wrong about that, then, sue me. But I'm pretty sure that that's not a good idea. For Nilu, no way. Unless you're doing Vape Nilu, in which case the sword could be pretty good. For Layla, actually could be pretty decent on Layla in a mono crow team. But again, Harbinger of Dawn is just going to be a lot better. Nahida, no way, no how. Farazan, maybe for some super meme build, but no way. Unfortunately, I Wanderer needs some more love for free-to-play Catalyst, but this is not it. It's a really great sword for Al-Hytham. Really great. Definitely worth going if you want to max him out for a 4-star weapon. You don't want to go for 5-star. I could even seeing it being competitive with a bunch of 5-stars. I'm especially with refinements, but even at R0, R1, really good. Yao, no. Dea, no, unfortunately she doesn't synergize with the serpent spine. Really unfortunate. Mika, no. Freminette, no. Liney, no. Lynette, no. Liney, maybe. Actually, sorry. Lynette does. Probably the new battle pass is going to be pretty good if you're building a damage focus. Lynette, and for Liney, it's hard to say whether or not that the new bow, because his burst, his kit is more than just charge attacks. So I'm gonna have to wait and see on Lenny until we can see more of his kit and people do some more math. For Kurara, no way. Baiju, no way. And Kava, no way. So that is it, folks. That is my list on which battle pass you should get for every single character, if you should get any at all. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if theory crafters have proved me wrong. I did check math for all of this, and I did use my own common sense brain for the ones that I haven't seen math for, so it honestly should be really reliable. But my promise to you is that every single time something is proven wrong, if you prove me wrong in the comments or I see something proven wrong, I will edit the pinned comment. So if you're watching this in the future, make sure you check out the pinned comment for everything that I'm wrong about, because these weapons are new. Some of the stuff hasn't changed yet. People haven't done full math for everything yet. So, but I wanted to get this out there so you guys don't choose the wrong battle pass weapon, and we're all going to learn together. I'm personally going to be starting out with the sword or the polearm. I'm really not sure. Let me know which one you're going to start out with. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the craftable weapons, which I'm really excited about. Some of them are really good, and we're doing daily videos all the way into Fontaine. Very excited. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. The channel is growing like crazy. Thanks to you guys. Really appreciate it. We're going full time. Please check out my Patreon if you want. Check out our Discord if you want to join a great community. And if you don't want to do any of those things, that is totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.